Blog Talk Radio.
Mr.C.J. Sports. You can follow me at Mr.C.J. Sports. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr.C.J. Sports. The 110 Nation fan page, the 110 Nation Sports. Glad to be back in the studio. Oh, we're in a slap-free zone right now. Oh, Lord have mercy. It has been entertaining to watch. Watch social media today after the Will Smith smacketh of Chris Rock. Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Hey, I heard the Browns have offered a 5-year, $230 million contract to Will Smith now, too. Anyway. Glad to be back in the studio. Got some things I want to jump into, talk about tonight. Some personal experience, some thoughts, some opinions. I know I've still not managed to work my way into talking about my car. It's something I've talked about ever since we came back into this season that I've not jumped into. Let me talk about that for a second. The day before Thanksgiving, I was door dashing, and for all those that know me, I door dash. I was door dashing about 4 days a week for a couple reasons. One, to help pay for all this stuff we got going on here, as we're looking for more marketing partners. So if you're out there, you want to be a marketing partner and help us continue to build and grow, all you got to do is hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. We are on a plethora of places. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addicts, and I'll list the rest of them, but a whole plethora of places to help get your brand out there as well. Also, if you're interested in joining the 110 Nation, maybe you have a show and you want to syndicate it on our network and help get your show out there, and all these plethora of platforms we're on. Maybe you don't have a show and you want to do a show on our network. We have like 3 or 4 days available. Or maybe you just want to come on and be either a co-host or do just 15, 20-minute segments of different sports. Maybe you want to talk all sports, but maybe Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, whatever the case may be your expertise. You want to come on and join me? We can have you on 15, 20 minutes and get that sport taken care of. Yeah, I DoorDash to that, and I have an addiction, and I don't know if y'all ready to hear my personal life like this, and it's a costly, very costly addiction. I got addicted about a year and a half ago, and it really consumes most of my life, and I have to DoorDash usually a few days a week to help support this addiction. It's actually been a little bit longer than a year, but the addiction's really taken over about the last 6-9 months. I spend all hours of the day pertaining to this addiction, and it's an addiction I don't think I can ever break, and it's been an up and down battle. It's got its highs and its lows, but yeah, I'm addicted to the stock market and crypto. I don't know what the hell y'all was thinking, but every morning I start my day off listening to shows. I play the stock market, trading market, I think is the name of the show I listen to. He gets on about 9:15 in the morning, and I listen through until about 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. And usually most evenings and nights consist of sports stuff and different YouTubers talking about different stocks that either I'm invested in or getting invested into, cryptos that I'm highly invested into, as I do all this to continue supporting what we got going on here and hoping that we eventually hit our dream as we're getting ready to turn 11 years old here in about 2 weeks. And next year we want to relaunch the site and eventually be in a building. And so last 4 out of 5 weeks I've been in the green on profit-wise, not to count all 8 platforms I'm on are up as well. But yeah, I have a real big addiction to crypto and stock, and I spend most of my day listening to the markets and learning things and pay attention to all things that are relevant to the markets and everything like that. And really, sports is about the other part of my life, but I don't know where everybody was thinking. But anyway, the day before Thanksgiving, I ran into Five Guys burger joint to pick up 2 DoorDashes. I was getting ready to call it a night. I got to the point where I had enough on my Robinhood account that I could have pulled that money out, paid the bill. And I was getting ready to wrap it up for that night, and I had 2 DoorDashes come in, and they were local. It was the day before Thanksgiving. I thought it was going to be busier. I didn't think a lot of people were going to be cooking, and I figured the people would be ordering food because they were cooking for everything for tomorrow or the next day. And, I was getting ready to wrap it up, and I was like, all of a sudden 2 came in. I was right at both of them around the corner, $15. All right, maybe this is kicking off. This is like 7:30 or so, 7:30 at night. And I went inside. I was in there for a couple minutes and left the car running, came outside, and the car was gone. I was like, I scratched my head. I was like, I swear that I parked my car right here. Yeah, somebody was stealing my car. It took a month. It took like 2 days before Christmas. And I had to go get sworn statements and police reports and those stamps. I forget what they're called at this point of time. I can't believe I can't even think of the stamp I had to go get to prove notary, because they got 2 speeding tickets in my car, caught on camera, the traffic cameras. Couldn't get lucky and the cop pulled them over in the first 15, 20 minutes. Used my credit card. It took a month. So I finally get it back, $6,200 worth of damage. And I had to pay to get the car out of the garage or where it was towed to, even though it wasn't my fault. So yeah. Now I'm dealing with a timing issue. A month later, my timing started messing up. So now I'm looking at another $1,100 worth of, and the insurance will care, well, they're taking care of it. I can't get my car in until May 2nd. So I've had to wait about 4 months in total, to get the repairs done to everything that they did to my car. And then now I got to find someone that takes my warranty. I got an additional warranty when I bought the car, but nobody wants to wait for the warranty because they have up to 60 days to pay you, and nobody wants to wait for that money, and finding somebody and everything else has been a hassle and a half. But anyway, yes, that's the gist, gist of the car getting stolen, part of things that went on and why I was not on the air and was taken care of. But anyway, got a lot of things to jump into tonight. Speaking of marketing partners, and let me mute this because everybody want to all of a sudden talk and send messages and everything else. Yeah, see, let me clear all these notifications because everything is just coming through one after another. All of a sudden, I've been on this computer for I don't even know how long at this point, and none of these came through. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff wants to start coming through. So, first of all, I want to make sure that I thank Phoenix Fitness. You guys can find them at fnxfit.com for all your fitness needs. A great company, great products. I tell you what, I took the pre-workout today. As I did go to the gym, took the post-workout BCAAs or whatever. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah, BCAA muscle recovery. It's called Recover. I got the raspberry lemonade. I took my chocolate peanut butter protein. I've been on it. So I tell you what, I went ahead and took Monster's energy drinks out of my daily routine. I would say in the last little over 2 weeks, I've had about 3/4 of a Monster. The week before, someone bought me a Monster. I drank about half of it. Last week, I forgot to take my amino acids with me to give me my energy that I need, and so I bought a Monster. I drank maybe 1/4 to 1/2 of it. But I was eliminating some of this unhealthy stuff out of my life and trying to get myself back into physical shape. But yes, Phoenix, it's FNXFit.com. Every product you guys order, they donate a gallon of water. So they're doing a lot of great things as well. Like I said, I have Recover, Muscle Recovery BCAAs. I have the pre-workout. I think it's laying right here. It's pre-workout nitric oxide booster. It's called Recharge. It's a strawberry lemonade. So I have a raspberry lemonade and a strawberry lemonade. Like I said, I'm real big on the chocolate peanut butter. I actually need to order some more. Speaking of order, all you got to do is use code FNXIZZK. You get 15% off your order, and it also helps support the 110 Nation. Also want to make sure that I thank Carolina Sports Plus. You got to find them over on Facebook. Check out their Facebook fan page. He is working on getting the website. You let Mario know that the 110 Nation sent you. He will hook you up with a special discount and get some stuff sent to you. And also got to thank the Bears Bullish Market Talk group. Every new member that they accept, they will donate $1 to the 110 Nation for contests and merchandise that we have going on. They'll also be donating a percentage of every month of their profits to the 110 Nation for merchandise, upgrades, and contests. So if you want a great group, look up Bears Bullish Market Talk group on Facebook and join that group. Putting out a lot of great information, a lot of profit, a lot of new, a lot of stocks, a lot of things coming out, a lot of crypto projects. Make sure you guys check them out as well. It's kind of undecided which direction I was going to go first. As this whole, and I think it's where I'm going to go first, this whole Colin Kaepernick, oh, Lord have mercy, this whole Colin Kaepernick conversation keeps coming up. It comes in rotation like every 4 or 5 years. At this point, I don't think anybody really takes it serious, but I was listening to Marcellus Wiley as Speak For Yourself is one of the shows that I do listen to, that I do record. I do catch the herd, speak for yourself, and also first things first. Crazy to me is the shows are like, especially like the herd's 3 hours long, but it's like every hour. Each hour is the same thing, just maybe worded a little bit differently, if the segment's even wordedly different. So it's crazy that these people have 3 hour spots and get paid all that money, and basically every hour just a repeat of the previous hour. But anyway, they were talking about the Colin Kaepernick workouts, and I thought it was a good take, talking about the fact that he has perfect conditions. There's no defense. There's no pads. There's a beautiful sunny, perfect day, no weather conditions, no variables, no crowds, no noise, no nothing. And yet Colin Kaepernick didn't look perfect. He wasn't, like, when you have the perfect scenario, you should be perfect. Right, because it's not going to be perfect when you start putting in all the variables. And so for him to only look as good as he does in shorts and a sleeveless shirt, throwing pitch and catch to a receiver to try to build hype is not. I don't see what the excitement is, I don't think there is much excitement. I keep seeing reports that 5 teams are interested. So I'm assuming there's 5 teams out there that are looking for backup quarterbacks. And so it's crazy to me that this subject and this topic keeps getting brought back up. And it's going to fizzle out. It's going to die because unless Colin Kaepernick's mentality has changed. Obviously, his quarterback skills have not changed. They've not gotten any better. But if the mentality hasn't changed, then we're still sitting at the same boat. We're still sitting at square one. We're still where we were 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever we're at this point. Because unless he's willing to take a backup position, not a max starting quarterback or even a starting quarterback contract, then we've just circled around, because he's been offered contracts. The first time around when he decided that after he got benched for Blaine Gabbert because he sucked, and decided to go political with everything, then swore him down the NFL as black marketing. No, you were offered backup quarterback opportunities. You didn't want to. You felt you were starting quarterback. You proved that you weren't. You got benched for Blaine Gabbert out of all quarterbacks. And then there's been other times and other opportunities. Then you had a workout scheduled, a few years ago, and last minute you decided to change it to an undisclosed site and change everything up after everybody, the scouts, quarterback, coaches, and everything else was already planning to be that were going to show up, be at the site that it was originally set for. So here we are, fast forwarding. I guess he's been out of the spotlight too long. I guess that he's felt that his name has been irrelevant for too long and decided, you know what, I'm going to make people remember who I am, which all it does is just turn into more comedy. It turns into more of a whole crapshoot with this, and it just kind of resurfaces the fact that he is unpatriotic, unthankful for the military, disrespects the military and everything. Like, we just cycle around every couple of years with this. So I'm not quite sure what he's trying to accomplish. Like I said, unless things have changed, obviously looking at the practice in the perfect conditions and doesn't look as good as he should. So unless his mentality has changed and is willing to take a backup position at a backup's pay, second, maybe even third string position and pay, nothing has changed. We're back where we started. We're back where we were when you got benched for Blaine Gabbert. We're back to when you turned down those opportunities before, when you were younger, fresh in everybody's mind, and hadn't taken all this time off. So I'm not getting it. But anyway, that's where we are. This last week, we got to see Kansas City decided they were going to trade off probably one of the top slot receivers, if not the top slot receiver in the NFL as of right now. They decided they're going to ship him off. They ended up getting this year's the 2022 first-round pick number 29, second-round pick of the 2022 draft, which was pick number 50, and a fourth-round pick, as well as the fourth and sixth-round pick of the 2023 2023 draft. Meanwhile, going and picking up a TikToker, which is like, you might as well just call him trailer park trash, Jiu-Jitsu or Shih Tzu or Bozo the Clown or whatever, who's now, I guess, going to do TikTok, and I can't use the word dance. TikTok and dance does not go because it's not dancing. Twitching around looking like a buffoon is not dancing. But I guess now Mahomes' brother and Juju, and at least that gives Juju something to do. I don't know. Mahomes is going to throw the ball too, but at least it'll keep both these bozos busy on the sideline while the grown-ups actually play some football. So we'll see how that goes. The Miami Dolphins went ahead and gave him a 4-year extension for $120 million. Tyreek Hill said, "I got my money. I ain't worried about winning no more championships. I mean, you went down there with 2 as your quarterback, so I just don't see that being a thing." Malcolm Butler has returned full circle back to the New England Patriots. I guess you had to add some defensive back to help cover Tyreek Hill running down the field. Kyrie Irving, the New York City vaccine mandate is expected to it got rolled back Thursday. So Kyrie Irving will be able to play some home games. We got the Final Four. And I kind of want to jump into that and spend a little bit of time talking about that. I kind of skimmed through some of these other topics real quick. We'll kind of jump into some of those a little bit more detail in a little bit. But we're down to our Final Four. And I guess for some of it was expected, but with some of a couple of the teams, not quite so much. We're down to on Saturday, April 2nd, 6 o'clock, we got Kansas City and Villanova. Not Kansas City, but Kansas, which was number 1 coming out of the bracket. Villanova 2. Neither team, nobody was really expecting, even though they were a 1-2 team. I didn't hear a lot. I think Villanova's name was brought up a couple times. Kansas' name was not brought up at all. And then the other 2 teams in the Final Four at 8:49. Duke was a team that was mentioned. I don't think to a serious threat, but mentioned. The other team was not really talked about at all, and nobody really gave them a chance to be at the Final Four. But I tell you what, Coach K's possibly last game, if wins his last championship game in his final season. Like, you couldn't have wrote this any better. Not only does Coach K in his final season of coaching, does Duke find themselves in the Final Four. Not only does Duke possibly find themselves going to the championship game to face either Kansas or Villanova, but in order to go to the championship game, their opponent, UNC. You couldn't have scripted this any better. I mean, it's, I spent 25 years of my life in North Carolina, the Tar Heel State. Didn't know much about the Duke and UNC rivalry when it comes to football. Even to this day, I really don't know a lot about the Carolina or Duke basketball. And where my team. See, even spending 25 years in there, I Buckeye through and through. That's all I cared was Buckeye football. I would enjoy some Buckeye basketball. Just the program wasn't successful, or at least successful enough. But I had an opportunity after being in North Carolina for, we'll say 10 years, because my first 2 years I was there, or the first year I was there for a month or two. Then I went overseas to Bosnia, Croatia, and Hungary. Then I came back in 98. So really from 98 to 2008. That 10-year gap. And after 10 years of being there, I got an opportunity to go work with and for my best friend. He did security, had a security business, so we did a lot of bouncing gigs, and I got the opportunity to do it in Chapel Hill. I started my first 2 or 3 years off at a little pub grill called PT's, and it was a cool spot. It was a corner of Henderson and the corner of Henderson and I'm drawing a blank. I knew it earlier too. But it was a corner spot, and it was a little bar. It was fresh burgers that were off the hook good. And at 9 o'clock, what they did is they shut down Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They shut down the dine-in, and they moved the tables out of the way and had DJs. One night, I think it was Tuesday nights, we had 80s night. Thursday night, we had like 90s night. Friday, you had top 40 night. Friday night, you had like hip-hop and R&B, and then Saturday was like top 40. And I tell you what, it was insane. One, I had never really been in a college town. So I kind of got blessed, not only, this opportunity, but I got an opportunity to be in an actual college town. It wasn't like some rinky-dink local UD, like the Dayton Flyers, University Dayton college town. I got to be at a big-time college town. Got to go up and down Franklin Street, got to experience that with Halloween as a spectator and going hanging out, but also as being a bouncer and working the clubs and Franklin Street and all that. But I got an opportunity to kind of embrace the college experience without going to college. I've done some online schooling, and it's one of those things that I'm hoping to proceed farther. But so I got to vicariously kind of live the college life, hang out with those that worked at the PTs. I got to hang out with some of the college students, because at that point in time I was in my mid to late 20s, 27, 28 years old, and you got to hang out with all the college guys and girls, 21, 22, 23 years old. So, it happened to be the perfect. I was a little bit older, but not to a point where, I was too old and everything else. It wasn't like I was in my 40s and 50s hanging out with everybody. I was, 27, 28 with 21, 22, 23, 24-year-olds. Some of them, but then I also got to hang with the older people that were, they were locals, I guess is what you would call them, that worked at the bars and worked at restaurants and, lived there. The doctors, different lawyers and everything else. I got to meet and hang out with a lot of fascinating people being in UNC. And I got to experience the college life. And college, well, more so the college scene. I had the basketball players. I was there with the year that UNC won. Tyler Hansberry, Felton, that whole crew was there. And I tell you what, that was one of the most insane experiences that I ever got to experience. Being there and as much as I hated it, because I did not want UNC to win, even though I was a Buckeye through and through, I wanted to see Duke before I wanted to see UNC. Something about a pastel blue is just not the most appealing color to me, the most manly of manly blues you could have picked to be represented. You might as well just been pastel green, purple, pink, yellow, whatever. You're basically a pastel blue color. But I remember the lines. It was insane. We would have lines all the way up the block. And the way the championship night worked is the city of Chapel Hill required us to shut down at a certain time. I think it was like 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that. I forget what time it was. So anybody that was in there, in the restaurant, any place in Chapel Hill, they all had to leave. And then it was a requirement that you had to charge a cover charge and to let people back in, to regulate how many people in there. And I think the city got a cut of the portions. I think that's why that did that. But they made everybody vacate their place, set everything up, and then charge a cover charge to get back in, which just caused these massively huge lines at all these different places and clubs. It was insane. And I tell you what, then watching UNC win and watching all these people run to Franklin Street, it was like you were working in this place that you couldn't even move. Then all of a sudden, there was like nobody in the place. Everybody was gone. Then like 30 minutes later, everybody starts making their way back and everything else. I'm not going to go into the details of the different places. I ended up working multiple places while I was down there. There was a place 2 doors down. Then I ended up working at, because after about 2 or 3 years, which, like I said, if I could have worked at PT's, I probably would have worked there the rest of my life. The pay was great. The staff was great. The atmosphere was great. The Patriots was great. I was at that point in time one of the most fit times of my life. Never had no issues. Well, I'm not going to say I had no issues, but there was no issues I couldn't handle. And mainly it was a bunch of college kids that were on their own for the first time and just didn't know how to handle their alcohol. That's basically all that. They weren't looking for trouble. But unfortunately, the owner got wrapped up and was on some stuff that he shouldn't have been on and got in a fight and basically punched an employee. I think he broke his nose or something, lawsuits and everything else, and they shut down. So I got to experience the Chapel Hill life. I got to experience the hatred of UNC for Duke. I got to experience firsthand this rivalry, packed bars, packed everything. Because to this point, the most and all I knew when it came to rivalry was Ohio State, Michigan. That was all I knew. And I'll still keep it 100%. The hatred and the rivalry between Ohio State and Michigan, I don't think there's one that is comparable. As much as UNC and Duke, the only difference is they're literally UNC. You literally can drive from one place to the next and within 10 minutes. When it comes to the actual rivalry, I don't think it's comparable. I don't think there's any rivalry out there. The hatred, the history, everything. I don't think there's one greater than the Ohio State-Michigan football rivalry. And I dare anybody out there to throw one out there that is more passionate, that is more intense, that has deeper roots than the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. I mean, hell, look at Jim Harbaugh finally, after decade of Michigan losing, how you basically secured himself a position as a head coach for God knows how many more years, just by simply winning finally one time against Ohio State. That tells you how deep and how important this game is to the Buckeyes and the team up north. But on the flip side, I got an opportunity as well to work in Cameron. I got an opportunity to work at on and off. I worked for a pizza place called Brooklyn Pizzeria, and what we did at Brooklyn is somehow the owner had connections. He also knew, I can't think of his name to save my life. He was a real good friend. I got to meet him a couple of times, of an older Duke basketball player, and I wish I could remember his name to save my life. He was in the pizza shop quite a few times, but they ended up getting a contract where we fed the Duke players. So all their home games, we did their pasta, their subs, their pizzas. Like, we made a whole bunch of food that we delivered to the Duke basketball team. It was for an entire season that we did that. And so I got to experience being over on that side of the fence. I got to experience the Duke. I didn't get to live that life. I wasn't by Duke University. Well, I was, but not close enough. And I never left the shop. I didn't know nothing really of that area. But I got to experience meeting the Duke fans, understanding the Duke side of the passion, and understanding a little bit more of this rivalry. I just enjoyed the Chapel Hill side more of it because I was doing it from the club side. And even when I worked for that pizza place and was working there by Duke University, it got to a point that I would work the days that I bounced. So I would get in the morning at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. It was like an hour drive to it. I would work those three Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays there. I would get out of there in time to run over to Chapel Hill and bounce in Chapel Hill. And then the days in between, I worked at the Fayetteville store. And so that was my rotation. I didn't really experience the Duke life outside of just being in the pizza shop. But I got an opportunity. Definitely, I hung out. I went up Franklin Street. I got to eat a lot of the restaurants, hang out with a lot of people, meet some of the basketball players, meet some of the football players. Had to kick out some of the football players. That was about a bunch of big pansies I've ever met in my life. But I tell you what, for Duke fans, the opportunity, especially watching UNC beat Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium, and Coach K's last game against UNC in Cameron, I tell you what, it was, in Durham. Well, I don't know why I called it in Cameron earlier, but in Durham. I tell you what, after watching that and thinking that Duke would never, Coach K would go down as losing to UNC. Now, he's going to have to go down as losing to UNC his last home game, but knowing that there was a good possibility that Coach K would go down as to losing to UNC in his last year and his final game against them, I know didn't sit well with UNC or Duke fans, and it was one of those things they wish they could take back. And so it is beyond a great thing for Duke fans. I mean, and for this rivalry, for the opportunity for Coach K to go out on top, beating UNC in their final matchup, which will take him into the championship game and possibly letting him go out as champion in his final season coaching college basketball. I can only imagine what it'll be like next Saturday in UNC, more specific in Chapel Hill and Durham. I can only imagine what the bar and club scenes would be like. I can only imagine what Franklin Street's going to look like. I can only imagine what it's going to be like surrounding the Duke University. It's going to be a thing. And just like I said, just to have an opportunity. Like I said, growing up, being young and not being well-educated, well-rounded, educated when it came to sports and rivalries, you thought that there was only one. Like, you didn't realize other sports even had anything like this. But to have an opportunity to live right there and spend, I would say, all in all, I spent about 10, 12 years when it was all said and done. Because then even at one point, I worked in Raleigh. So I was not too far away from the Wolfpack, NC State University as well, as I got a gig working for him. We did a TGIF that wasn't too far. It was in the Raleigh area. And they did the same. They kind of did the same thing. It was insanely crowded. It was crazy. They did it at TGIF in Durham as well, but that got to be out of hand. You had 3 or 4 bouncers, and you had 6 cops on duty, and still having shootings. It was insane. But I got an opportunity to kind of work in between the two as well. But to actually get the opportunity, and like I said, growing up, you just watch. Well, I just watched the Browns. I just watched the Buckeyes, and I just knew what I knew about the Browns and the Buckeyes, and I didn't take the time to educate myself and learn other history and other rivalries and the significance of the Tobacco Road battle and everything else, and just to have had the opportunity to be in Chapel Hill, and I did dorms, and I bounced in different frat houses, and not dorms but frat houses and frat parties. We had one in the year. It was insane. Like, it was an all-day affair. You got out there. I'd have to take the day off at work, because you got out there like 12, 1 o'clock, and you was all there and all the way until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, it was well worth the pay. It paid out really well. But I got an opportunity to spend 10, 12 years of my life in Chapel Hill, 2, 3, when the tournament was going on, throughout the whole NCAA tournament that year that UNC won. It was almost every night. Like, the pay was even better because it was insane. And we were charging door cover charge every night, versus just certain nights of the week, because it was just ridiculous. It was off the chain. You had a game, multiple games. You didn't know, from one night to the next. Okay, if UNC loses, then we don't know the rest of the week. The schedule is this week. They win, we're doing this again tomorrow night, or we're doing this again on Sunday, or whatever. So it turned into quite a whole to-do, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, even though UNC won. But like I said, getting the opportunity to kind of be in there, and as a man of sports that loves the history of sports and loves the backstories, and has spent the last 10, 11, almost 11 years being on the air, and have as many different pieces that I've wrote and interviews that I've had, to get an opportunity accidentally. It had nothing to do sports related, because at that point in time there was no 110 Nation. You figure I started in 2008. 110 Nation didn't start till 2011, and having the opportunity to be there and be educated, be in the middle of this rivalry, to have an opportunity. I remember when UNC had to play Ohio State in the NIT tournament, and Ohio State won. Like, people were pissed. I'm all buckeyed up, bouncing, talking about, I wish you would. Like, ain't nobody won none of this. And so, I got to poke my fun in football season. They all disappeared. Being a Buckeye fan and being how the ACC has really been irrelevant forever, if any, especially UNC and Duke. But it was great to have gotten that experience, because without that experience, without having that opportunity to spend 10, 12 years of my life being in Chapel Hill a year or two in Durham, and getting to experience firsthand the dislike for each other. I want to use the word dislike, because Ohio State and Michigan, they hate each other. They won't even, Ohio State fans won't even say Michigan, we'll say the team up north. I would say dislike when it comes to UNC and Duke, because it's not as serious. And that's how I know the rivalry is not to the level of Ohio State and the team up north, because it is not to that extreme serious. But I mean, also a bunch of preppy, khaki short, long button-up shirt, sandal wearing. Can you see that turn into a real serious fight? But anyway, but having the opportunity to have experienced that, having the opportunity to being on both sides of the line, working on both sides of the line. I'm going to say I was on both sides of the line, but working both sides of the line, getting the opportunity to be friends with people on both sides, getting the opportunity to discuss, see the passion makes this even more of an interesting game for me come Saturday. It makes me want to tune in and watch this. It makes me actually honestly wish that I was back in UNC for one weekend or another. It's not that I've not been back. I've been back many times seeing my kids and family and everything else, but being back for that weekend, it makes me wish that knowing this whole rivalry, knowing what this game means to Duke and Coach K going out in his retirement, knowing what it means to UNC basketball and their fans for Duke to not have only lost their last home game for Coach K, but also lose in the tournament against UNC with Coach K's last season, makes me wish that I had the opportunity to be in more specifically UNC, because like I said, I've never actually hung out in Durham and with around the college atmosphere of Duke like I got to be in. I still know different bartenders and bar owners in UNC where if I popped up today, I'd have a spot right there. But I would give anything to have that opportunity, just one more go around to experience it firsthand, what this is like. Because I tell you what, with the experience and the background and everything that I've gotten to witness that 10, 12 years, I tell you what, there's got to be no greater place, no greater atmosphere for this tournament but to be either in Durham or Chapel Hill come Saturday night. And I tell you what, the bar scene, especially with the close game, if it's a lopsided game, I feel sorry for whatever bars in whatever particular town, if it be Durham or Chapel Hill, because it just kills everything, and people leave early, and it kills business, it kills everything everybody bought up, prepped, food-wise, alcohol-wise, staffing-wise. It just shoots the bottom line. So in that aspect, you want this to be a good back-and-forth game. If it goes in overtime, that'd be even better for all those, especially bartenders and bar owners that I know in Chapel Hill personally. Wishing you all the best luck that night. Wish I was there holding it down, pulling security. I'd come out of retirement one more time. I told myself many times, because I've retired many times. After that 12-year stretch, I retired, and I ended up getting pulled out of retirement once or twice more after that. But I would definitely come out of retirement one more time for that whole opportunity. But even more, I would love to just be hanging out with everybody and be able to be part of that atmosphere, living it, seeing it, being a part of it. I tell you what, it's one of the things that you weren't a part of. You didn't grow up being a part of it, and through, you don't bleed the Carolina blue or the Duke Blue Devil blue. I'm silver and scarlet through and through, but I got to be a part of that. I got to witness that, and so that makes me an honorary member of wanting to be there to see this battle, not caring really whose side wins at this point, because both these storylines come to a course, an intersection here come Saturday night. I tell you what, there's got to be no greater place to be than be either one of those towns. More specifically, the winning side would be the better town to be in that night. A lot of bad decisions, baby-making decisions will probably happen at some point that time that night. But yes, Saturday night, Kansas, Villanova, 6:09 on CBS, followed by Duke and Carolina, 8:49 championship game Monday night on CBS, 9:20. Make sure you guys tune in, check that out. We'll definitely be bringing you guys updates on which way ever it goes Monday night. The show will be over. We'll be having an opportunity to enjoy the show with everybody else. So we might even say that we'll bring updates, because we'll be clear off the air by that time. So looking forward to that. Good times with that. Want to make sure that I shout out to Phoenix Fitness. You guys can check them out at FenixFit.com. That's FNXFit.com. Like I said earlier, I got myself the pre-workout today. I went ahead and cracked it open. Like I said, this is the second go-round of the supplements. And to all fairness, I think I tried each of the products once or twice. Before my car was stolen, I had all my product in my duffel bag so that I'd take it out when I was leaving work or heading to the gym. And unfortunately, the whole first round of supplements that I had purchased was in the bag that got stolen. That was also part of that story. Luckily, I had caught. They do a lot of sales, so make sure you guys go check them out at FNX.com or FNXFit.com. Because not only am I going to give you a code to get 15% off. They do a lot of buy one, get ones. They do a lot of great deals that you don't want to miss. I happen to catch a bunch of buy one, get one. So the first go around, I paid for, I think, full price for everything. I think I got a discount code too as well. But the second go around, it was a lot of buy one, got one. So I bought one protein, got a different. So I got my chocolate peanut butter, got my free orange cream. I went ahead and got my recharge. Nitric oxide pre-workouts. I got my free BCAA post-workout stuff. I got a couple other different things to try. But make sure you guys use code FNXIZZK, get 15% off. So it saves a little bit at the checkouts and also helps the 110 Nation. Like I said, don't forget also to check out Carolina Sports Plus. You guys can find them on Facebook, Carolina Sports Plus. He, within the next week or two, will be releasing his website where you can get all his product. I have a handful of things laying around here that I have gotten from him. Great guy. Mario will hook you up. Let him know that the 110 Nation sent you. He will give you guys a discount for mentioning that. Looking forward to the website. He's got a couple of different locations. He used to be a customer of mine when I lived in North Carolina. We became great friends. We are working on trying to do a few things together, so hopefully we continue to build our relationship. He has gone through some personal stuff health-wise, and he's on the recovery side, so looking forward to that, which also makes me want to support him even more. I've seen the hospital bills. I've seen what he's going through, and it's very expensive and extensive. So love to have the opportunity to do some things with him and to expand and help him grow as well. Like I said, longest running marketing partner that I've had. Make sure you guys check him out. It's Carolina Sports Plus. Find them on Facebook. Then also don't forget Bears Bullish Market Talk Group. You guys can find them on Facebook as well. For every one of y'all, go over there and become a member of the group. They are going to donate $1 to the 110 Nation for contests and merchandise. Also, with this partnership, they will be donating a percentage every month of their profits to help us with getting merchandise, upgrades, and contests. So help support them, help them grow as they help us grow as well. So glad to have all these on board. If you're a marketing partner out there and you want to join the 110 Nation and be one of our marketing partners, hit us up. You guys can find us, or you can send me an email, MrCJSports@gmail.com. You can send me a message, send us a message either on the 110 Nation fan page or the Mr.C.J. Sports fan page. Also, don't forget, Taz Taylor will be doing race coverage for the Mud Mules Esports Series iRacing League. I think this Friday night he will be debuting. He'll be doing live race coverage, bringing you guys league updates, driver updates, all that kind of stuff. So you guys can tune in and listen to it on the 110 Nation. You can mute it and catch it on, I'm assuming, YouTube. I'm assuming you'll be able to catch it, but if not, you can at least catch his live race commentary of the Mud Mules Esport iRacing League. They also will be having races during the week as well. As long as they don't interfere with any shows, he'll be covering races those nights, which I think Wednesday night will be the open night. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Race Chat Live, Chris, Craig, and Taz will be in the studio. They will be recapping COTA, Circuits of the Americas, road race, little friction at the end of the race, interesting race. Liked it, got to watch it. I watched all three races. Interesting, all three races were great races. It's a great track. Undertaker drove the pace car to start the Cup Series race yesterday. So a lot of fun with that and a lot of great action. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Thursday, Southern Dirt Track Report is back. I'm looking forward to catching those guys right here on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. Great guys, great show. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock. You guys don't miss it. I'm looking forward to, looking forward to listening to those guys talk Southern. I think Louisiana, Florida. Be able to tell you. Southern Mississippi, Alabama, and West Florida. You guys can also check out the schedules and all show descriptions at podpage.com, the 110 Nation. You can find us over there. It's got all our episodes. It's got all our sponsor, marketing partner information, and all our show schedules and everything. For those that are interested in being a marketing partner, or maybe you have a show and you want it syndicated on our network to help grow your brand, or maybe you want to join the 110 Nation, maybe you don't have a show or a platform to do it on and you would like to join our platform and do your show on, or maybe you just want to come on and be a co-host, or maybe a particular sport expert and come on 10, 15, 20 minutes of the show and talk of a specific sport. All you do is hit me up, Mr.CJ sports@gmail.com, or like I said, send us a message on either Facebook page, the 110 Nation or Mr. CJ Sports. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcast, Stitcher, GeoSavin, how you say that, Podcast Addicts, Deezer, Podchaser, and YouTube. So you can find us pretty much everywhere at this point. And we're looking to continue to grow. So it's not one of those things that we're done yet growing. So hopefully looking for us to bring on some more people to help us continue to grow. I will be back in the studio next Monday night, 8 o'clock, right here, the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network for the 110 Nation Sports Show. If you're not liked us on Facebook, go to the 110 Nation Sports, give us a like. If you've not liked my personal fan page, all you got to do is go to Mr. CJ Sports, give me a like as well. A lot of things going on both pages, so make sure you guys check that out. Give Race Chat Live a like. Give the Southern Dirt Track Report a like as well. But thanks for hanging out, and till next time.